One of the most frequent reasons that viewers contact this program is dissatisfaction with the building industry. The people who call or write are homeowners who've had a dispute with their builders, surveyors or inspectors. It's an industry plagued with regulatory problems and a lack of accountability, with limited ways to get compensation. The government says it's reforming an extremely complex system, but the process will take years to complete. As Peter Carline reports, some consumers say they've already waited far too long.
This is absolutely a consumer catastrophe on a scale that is so enormous, with the impact and the devastating effects just too numerous to even convey.
We need change. The building industry is crying out for it. Consumers are screaming. We want change.
The whole of the administration of this, the Building Act, the Consumer Affairs, Consumer Protection, all needs a shake-up.
Home ownership. It's the biggest decision and expense most people will ever make. When Fiona O'Hare bought into Melbourne's leafy east 3 years ago, she knew exactly what she wanted.
Good boy. I bought it because of this balcony, the view out here, and I've always wanted to have the aspect that's in the canopy, and it's just lovely.
This is what she got.
When we ran the trench through the ensuite, we collected all the water, and when it let go, it was like a river. We estimated there's about 2,000 litres of water underneath the house. Yeah, it's all rotten, all the way through.
I've seen it all through other people's lives and what it's done to them, the heart attacks, the strokes, the suicides, the broken marriages, the bankruptcies, and you can't come back. Your life is ruined.
Anne Payton has had her own battle with the system over defects in her 5-year-old home in Melbourne's north.
We've been led down a path in the belief that there's some kind of regulation and some kind of system there to protect us, when in fact there's absolutely zero consumer protection.
All too often, consumers with complaints are sent on a frustrating journey where they are bounced back and forth between various bodies. The Building Practitioners Board, the Building Commission, which is now being replaced by the Victorian Building Authority, sometimes Consumer Affairs. Then there's also the Victorian Civil and Administrative Tribunal.
I've got a situation not very far from where we are now. A young couple. It has cost them to date, and this is at the end of the week before last, $198,000 in legals, plus another $68,000 to try and mitigate further damage to their property. Now, what on earth are we doing? Young people can't afford that.
Phil Dwyer runs the Builders Collective of Australia, which represents smaller builders. He's just finished this apartment complex in Melbourne's southeast. He paid $32,000 for builders' warranty insurance.
Well, the insurance is extremely powerful. It's more powerful than a licence. So first up, the builder has to get this insurance, otherwise he can't build.
But he says only a fraction of cases are ever paid out, and it's a waste of money.
We get pushed from pillar to post. This product is split over 4 ministries. So this one can say, oh no, it's his fault. That one can say, it's his fault. And so it goes on. And we go round and round in circles. Same way as consumers are being treated.
And this one here is supposed to be 600 deep, and as you can see, it's barely 230 millimetres deep. So
Fiona O'Hare also thought she was covered for her property. She says she wasn't.
Unfortunately, the builder's warranty insurance is what we call junk insurance. You can only claim builder's warranty insurance if your builder has died, disappeared or gone insolvent. Now, my builder is none of those, so I have no claim.
The statistics are extremely alarming. We're looking at 1 in every 2 people who build, and in Victoria, to take the statistics in 2011, more than 250,000, more than 250,000 people were impacted. The level of detriment has been increasing steadily, It was $500 million to Victorian consumers in 2005 and over $3 billion by 2011.
These publicly available documents show scores of Victorian builders who've been disciplined by the Building Commission, which means a reprimand and, in most cases, a fine. Very few are suspended or stripped of their builder's licence. In many cases, there are allegations recorded and proven at numerous sites around Melbourne.
Victorians have every right to feel angry with how the Building Commission has been operating for the best part of the last decade. It was not doing its core job of being an oversight, a regulatory body.
In December 2012, in the wake of a scathing Ombudsman's report, a new era was promised to consumers, with the Commission dumped in favour of a new building authority which comes into full being in July of this year.
You said in 2012 that Victorians had a right to be angry about the system. Do they still have a right to be angry today?
Well, they certainly have a right to feel confident that the government is putting in place a simpler structure. But yes, it is going to take time. I can't wave a magic wand and fix the system overnight. It's a very, very big industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry in Victoria, and the regulator needs time to get in place to put those structures in place. More reforms still coming this year. But I do want Victorians to understand that the new structure through the Victorian Building Authority is a simpler one.
You also said that the government was reviewing the builder's warranty insurance. Where's that at the moment?
The Attorney-General's not far off making some announcements. He's been with myself and the Consumer Affairs Minister Heidi Victoria looking at ways which we can better improve that structure. There was a paper put out for comment last year as well about how we might improve the operation of domestic builders warranty insurance. There's no doubt, again, that is a complex process in itself. The product itself is one that needs to be examined.
Back in Don Vale, 3 years and $200,000 in legal and consultant fees later, Fiona O'Hare says she's running out of steam.
The latest round of solicitors and barristers have informed me a lot of my reports need to be redone because they're too watered down, and it would cost me another $200,000 to get it to VCAT. I have to decide whether or not to push it over and try and move on with my life, which is probably what will have to happen.